My name's Nick Tucker. I work at We Are Unity. I'm a psychologist by background. I've worked with over 100 companies. The company I work for, We Are Unity, is an interesting business. We're a potential agency. What does that mean? That means we make businesses better through their people and our capabilities around psychology, analytics, creative, and strategy. So before I kick into this, can I get a quick show of hands? Who in here has a Netflix account, active Netflix account? All right, leave your hands up. Leave your hands up, leave your hands up. It's taking control of the room. Who has seen this TV show? Just one episode will do. Leave your hand up. Okay, good majority of people. So this is House of Cards. Was released in, you can put your hands down now. Was released in 2013 and it was a massive success. So let me put some context around it. So it was actually Netflix's first entry point to real content development. You know it now as this powerhouse of content, but this was the first time they really invested in native content. When it came out, an estimated 4.4 million viewers per minute in the first week. So you just kind of put that in context. That is a massive amount of people watching this TV show. It was equally loved across most major demographics. So what's unique about House of Cards, and we saw it in this my very scientific straw poll, which was that we are seeing this equal men, women both love this content. And it started this new behaviour that no one had seen before, that everyone has now participated in and wasted a lot of their lives doing, which is when we watch 2 or 3 more of these episodes in a row, and it's called binge watching, right? And season 5 received 4 Emmy nominations, right? So when I look at this and think about it from a data point of view, I think, well, what is the driver of this huge success? Is it the creative genius? Is it the fact that someone came up with this idea and thought, well, how do I really operationalize this to create something people love? Now, what you probably didn't know about House of Cards, or maybe you did, if so, bear with me, is that data analytics were key. So Netflix knows a huge amount about you. They know what you like to watch, they know when you like to watch it, they know when you pause, they know when you fast forward, they know that little guilty pleasure that all of us have on the Netflix. And really they use this to really work out, well, how do we serve up the right content that people are going to want to consume? So I'll give you an example. They knew that the majority of people that were fans of the House of Cards, so this was a 90s television show in the UK, they knew that the people who had watched that on Netflix also had a preference for Kevin Spacey, Robin Wright, the 2 strong leads, and they also had a preference for David Fincher, who was the director of Social Network, so they knew that they liked that. And so they actually were able to serve up that content to you, and to the point of scripts, locations, all of these factors were impacted by data analysis. So what Netflix did is they actually generated or were able to populate the right recipe for success, okay? So how can we bring this recipe into our world, the world of people analytics, the fascinating stuff that everyone's been talking about over the last 2 days? So as I continue to stretch out the analogy of recipe, some 4 key ingredients for people analytics. And over my time today, I've been watching, there's a lot of talk about technology. I'll call that gear and special effects, you know. But to get it right, what we need to do is we need to get your people right, the cast, the purpose, the story that you want to tell, the culture, the location that's been, okay, I'm stretching the analogy again a little bit far, but you know, I'm trying to just work it, just bear with me. So what if I focus on the people aspect? And all of us in this room know that talent is a huge risk. So RE research shows that 1 in 5 employees are turning over every 12 months, which is massive. But actually the cost of this turnover is massive. And one thing I'm going to focus on is not the people that you're happy leaving your organisation. We all know that there's some people that you're okay turning over. But when we look at key talent, particularly mid, high-level employees, the cost can be up to 400%, which is huge. And even worse, we can get the wrong people into our business, which causes a huge cost on our organisation, somewhere up to about 168% of salary. And let's be honest, most of us are not Netflix. We're not ready to go down the pathway that Netflix went to deliver the House of Cards. So we did a piece of research. We partnered with Macquarie Business School. We spoke to 247 organisations. Those organisations employ about 800,000 Australians. The research problem or the research question that we asked was, what does progressive HR look like in the future? So if we just all focus into the late 2020s, what does that progressive HR look like? And the results were pretty shocking. Only 12% of HR leaders, and this was their assessment of their current state, were utilising predictive analytics, which is shocking. I think even more shocking was that 54% of leaders were making decisions based on gut feel and intuition over evidence and data. So when I see this insight, I start to think about, well, what are some of the drivers of that? What are some of the reasons why our business leaders are still out there making decisions based on gut feel? And this is where this theme of emotional connection and creativity, I think, becomes really important. Because if I start to connect you broadly to the emotional side of the reason why you're going to do things, that's going to help you influence your behaviour and help you make a right decision, a quantifiable decision, an evidence-based decision. So that brings me to the problem statement that I'm going to walk you through today. And that's, how can we unlock potential with data-driven creative? Case study. So this is a leading Australian technology company. I want you to think high growth, so 20 years of double-digit growth, huge aspirations for further growth, hugely valuable talent. So they had Microsoft, IBM kind of hunting around their bus stops trying to pick up their employees. But one thing that was very, very unique was that they're a very human organisation. But they had a problem. Now, the problem was they were losing talent. So specifically in the 2 to 5 years tenure group, and what they needed was they needed a solution to attract and retain high performers. So like most organisations, we've got these very valuable employees, and they were currently walking out the door. So, quick gear change, back to school. Another show of hands. Who studied statistics at university or at school? Who liked statistics at university? Okay, cool. All right, well, you're going to love this. Because I'm going to introduce you back to multiple regression, right? Everyone knows what this is, very kind of entry-level analytic. You will remember it as the Y, which is the dependent variable. This is the thing we're trying to predict. And then the MX1, 2, 3, etc. are all the things that we think in our theory are going to predict that outcome that we care about. And of course, there's error. If I could predict the future, I wouldn't be here. I'd be on the yacht in the Bahamas. But I do love being here, for the record. So coming back to our original problem statement of employee retention, what we're able to do is start to build out this model of, well, how do we get the right people to stay in our organisation? So our why becomes employee retention, these high performers wanting to stay. And there were 2 factors that we considered in our model. So number 1 was employee personality. So for those of you with a psych background, you'll know this as behaviours, cognitions, emotional patterns. But this is really about how do people want to behave under stress. The second factor that we looked at was employee experience. So what experience do we need to give people to ensure that when they come on board, that they're going to stick, all right? And then there's, of course, error, which I'm always going to put in my models, because it gives us 2 very distinct things that we can talk about. So one is something that we can control as an organisation. We can control who comes in the door. We can control who we hire. We can control who we promote. We can give them the right experiences. We can give them experiences that they care about. And then there's the confounding factors. If IBM decides to pay engineers $2 million a year, we're going to lose some people, right? That's something that's not within our control. So the idea is, how do we get the right people in and give them the right experience? So what did we do? Worked with a sample of high-performing employees, and we were able to build out a model for what actually predicted whether someone would stay with an organisation. So 7 factors around personality, employee experience. These 4 factors, showing resilience, providing leadership, adjusting to change, investigating issues. So someone who can get up when they're knocked down, all of these kind of personality factors. And then we also, with the same group of people, looked at their experience and said, well, if you can give them access to projects and secondments, so in particular around technology, being actually exposed to new and exciting technology is a huge driver for retention in this space. The excitement for career, so if you stay with our business, which isn't a multinational, then you can build your career and add a lot of value. And then are you paid fairly? So one of those basic things. And with this model, we're actually able to build out an R squared, and this will maybe be the last time I throw stats jargon at you. So R squared means a put of 0.41, which means 41% of the variance in whether someone's going to stay with your business was accounted for by these 7 factors. Okay, so the original problem statement that I threw out there was around, well, how do we do the data-driven creative bit? Now, as we make the leap from data to creativity, what's really important is to understand is that the creative process works around a territory, what's called a creative territory. So these are like parameters that you operate in with to build out and grow your ideas. So looking at this as a starting point, so founding that in data, what we were able to find out that was really clear is that this organisation needed more than people with experience. We needed more than people with great technical expertise. What we needed people who could bring your plus. Now let me explain, this is a creative territory, so this is the operation where we start to explore some of these ideas, and I'll break down the anatomy of this for you. So bring is a simple proactive word all about the experience and brilliance that each of our people bring to work every day. We invite our people to join forces with each other and the rest of our team. So we start to build out this creative idea. Your plus. We hire people for more than just their core expertise. We want your extra bits of talent and magic. It's all about 1 + 1 = 3. That's bad maths, by the way. So this gives us the creative territory. And this gives us a starting point to start thinking about ideas and how do we bring what is a pretty clunky, even though I had a nice colourful kind of border behind it, it's a pretty boring statistical method, and how do I turn that into something beautiful? So what I'm going to talk to you a bit is give you a few examples of an ad concept. So think about the problem of, all right, we're trying to hire the right people into our business and we're trying to make sure we're attracting them in, so we're going to use an advertisement. And we've all seen them. So what does that sound like? And I'll read a few of these out for you. So we don't do tech like everyone else. So I'll start with here. So technology plus. So we said it was about bringing your plus. So we've got technology, so we need you to bring something else. We need you to bring open minds. Technology plus open minds. We don't do tech like everyone else. We're IT experts with a people-first approach to business. That's where you come in. If you have a unique perspective, aren't afraid to challenge conventions, and like to collaborate with those around you, get ready for a rewarding career with a focus on personal growth. So that's one. And you start to see some of the personality aspects and some of the employee experience factors are being woven in to the copy or the text. Technology plus determination. We don't do tech like everyone else. We deliver a high standard of excellence with an added human touch. That's where you come in. If you're good under pressure, tenaciously resilient, and never stay down for long, get ready to explore transformative career opportunities that go beyond job title. So again, we start to see this theme of resilience coming through, and we start to look at that, right? Final one, technology plus curiosity. We don't do tech like everyone else. We believe in the unique combination of technology with humanity at its heart. That's where you come in. If you have an inventive mind, enjoy solving problems, and love a good dose of different, get ready for an opportunity to do the best work of your career. So again, we're bringing in this theme of resilience, we're bringing in this theme of problem solving, leadership, a challenge. How do we do that, right? So this is, again, drawing the link from the data to the creative territory to the copy. And I mentioned that this was a very human organisation. So a lot of today is talking about, well, how do we humanize data? How do we bring it? So this is an example of that advertising copy put next to 3 very handsome colleagues of mine. This is actually Aidan. He works in our data team. And it brings that very human, expert side of the creative, which is really very, very powerful, and really starts us to think about, well, how do we get the right people into our organisation and give them the right experience? So what does this actually deliver for us? And I said at the beginning that I was going to talk about how do you use data to generate a beautiful outcome, but how do you use that to generate a commercial one as well? So what this tells us is if you come into our organisation, we're going to get the right people, we're going to give them the right experience, and ultimately that's going to deliver us a commercial outcome, because those people we know are high performers, those people we know are going to stick around for a long time and add a whole lot of value. Now, it was a bit risky starting the presentation with Kevin Spacey. I was actually surprised no one in the room. I was trying to set you up a little bit. But you remember the success. And I only spoke up to season 5 because this is a beautiful case study in consumer analytics. This is a beautiful case study in if we focus purely on the commercial outcome, then we're going to generate something that people are going to want to binge. It's going to win us lots of awards. It means that 90% of this room pays that $14.99 a month or whatever it is. But what they forgot is they forgot the human aspect. So Kevin did what he did. I'm not going to comment on that. But the House of Cards fell down. The finale of season 6, so I only spoke up to season 5 very, very intentionally. The finale of season 6 lost an estimated 80% of their audience. So by forgetting about the human aspect, that kind of behavioural bit that is so hard to quantify, so hard to understand. So that brings me to my final thought. And what I think the opportunity for us as practitioners is really to say, well, how do we start to build the emotional connection? How do we start to connect our leaders with this so that we are actually telling a broader story than just what the dashboard or the data or the beautiful O&A analysis in real time is telling us? How do we actually connect them with that emotionally so that when they want to make a decision, they want to really invest, they really want to buy into what you're saying? Because your data needs to be human to truly unite your company. Thanks so much.